All right. Hello, IBCA. Today is February 3rd. We had our class this morning where I introduced Excel for the first time. And we did a little accounting, the accounting equation, assets equals liabilities plus equity. And we learned a couple of formulas in Excel. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that here. Okay, so first off, you're going to open Excel. If you have it on your desktop, just click the icon. I typed it in here, and I'm opening it this way. Okay, you should see something that looks like this. Mine is very small just because it's been minimized a few times. So you should see this. You may have some options here. These are a bunch of templates. See, here's one for a personal monthly budget, seasonal photo calendar. There's some stuff like this already on here. We're going to open a plain one. So what you want to do is double click or single click, depending on your computer, to open. And you have a blank Excel spreadsheet. A lot of this is going to look familiar. We have our cut, copy, paste, format painter stuff. We have font stuff that is exactly the same as it was in Word. We have some of these alignment type of things that are the same. Merge and center is something that is different, kind of, but you saw it when we did tables. When you do a table, you can merge and center some cells, and it's the same thing that we're going to have here. If you feel comfortable doing tables in Word, you should find Excel what we're going to do anyway to be pretty simple. Some of this other stuff we did not talk about today, so we'll talk about that later. This stuff at the top. You can play around here and look at what else they have. You will find that a lot of this is still similar or self-explanatory. Insert pictures, online pictures, shapes, smart art, this kind of stuff. You have all that we already learned all that in Word. Our page layout, so much of this is the same thing. Formulas is something we do not have in Word, but we'll be fooling with those here. Data is another thing we do not have in Word. They do have a spell check. Same as Word. The view is very, very similar to Word. We have macros on this as well, which we also have in Word. But right now, we're not going to look at any of that. Let's go back to, okay, so just go back to your beginning right here and hit home. So what I did in class was we went down to A3. If you look here, whatever cell, these are called cells. Okay, I think of little jail cells all over the place. All right, so which one are you in? We're in A3 right now. I clicked right here, and you can see this is the third row, and column is A. Remember, columns are what hold a house up or a porch or something. Those are columns, and so they go up and down. Rows are this way, are horizontal. Columns are vertical. You can look up here. You can look up right here, and it shows A3 is where I am. If I want to go to J10, you can type that in there, and it takes you there. You also can just click in it. But sometimes the cell you want is way off the page, and instead of scrolling around looking for it, it's just quicker just to click it right here. For right now, I'm going to go back to A3. So I'm going to start here on A3 because I want to leave a little bit of space here to put the hyperlink to a job. So, okay, so what we're looking at here is the accounting equation and looking at almost like a personal budget for you and accepting certain jobs and how much they pay and how much you can expect to get paid. So here in A3, I'm going to put hourly wage. Now, one thing we noticed in class about this, the words hourly wage are longer, they're wider apart than this column is. So what you can do is put your mouse right here between A and B at the very top, and when you double click, it expands it to however much you need for that word, no more. If you want it wider just because you want to look nicer or whatever, you can pull this thing as wide as you want column A to be. I mean, it can be however big you want it. Okay, so I'm going to put it back kind of reasonable, somewhere around here. I think minimum wage is like $7.25 an hour. So the example we did in class was Baskin Robbins. So I'm assuming you can make, you will make $7.25 an hour, possibly more, but I assume you can make $7.25 an hour working at Baskin Robbins. So I type in 7.25 and hit enter. Right now, Excel does not know what kind of data this is, except that it knows it's a number value. It does not know what hourly wage is at all because it's just a bunch of letters. It is assuming that it is just text and there's no value. It can't do anything with it. It can't multiply the letters HOURLYWAG. It can't multiply. It can't divide. It can't do anything like that. 7.25, it sees that as a value. And so if you want to use this mega calculator to do your calculations, then you can use it. The point I want to drive home with this, you should not need a calculator at all. You should not need to use your phone for any calculations. You shouldn't have to even use your head for any calculations. Excel is going to do all of that for us. Okay, so our hourly wage, we have $7.25. Hours per week. How many hours we're going to get a week? We said this is about a part-time job, so we're looking at about 20 hours a week. Okay. So our gross pay per week. Now we've talked about the difference between gross and net. Gross is the big amount that you would make if they took nothing else out. If they took no taxes out, no insurance, or payroll unemployment taxes and all the other kind of stuff that employers have to pay. They have to pull that stuff out of your check. That comes out and is called your net pay. But your gross pay is the big number. So the gross pay is literally just whatever you're making per hour times however many hours you worked. So our gross pay per week, this is our very first formula. You have to start it with an equal sign. If you don't put an equal sign, it doesn't see it as a formula. So we're going to say equals. All you have to do is click in B3 right there because we're taking our hourly wage. So click in it and you can see how it auto-populates to put B3 there. Or you can type in B3, but I think it's a better habit to get in to click the one you want. Times, which is always the asterisk or the little star that's right above 8. So you would hit Shift 8 to get the asterisk. That means times. And you want to times your hours per week. So click on B4 for your hours per week. So now we have that is going to equal B3 times B4. You could put more stuff in here. You could say minus this and times that and do all this kind of stuff, but we don't need to do all that. We just need to do hours times hours per week and hit enter. So 145. Now, as we can tell, it's not dollars right now. It's just 145. So what we want to do is change the format of the numbers to dollars if it applies to that. So for right here on 725, click inside it so that your box is green, and then once you see this nice big, I need to learn the term for this word. I can't think of what it's called, but it's this like fat arrow. this fat cross thing. Right click on it, and you want to go to Format Cells. This is kind of the long route. You also could just simply click this dollar sign right here, and it'll change it to money. But what I want to do is go just so you can see more. I'm gonna hit Format Cells, and you have all these choices right here. We're going to turn it to currency in 2 decimal places. The symbol is dollar. Okay, so let's hit OK. And it's 725. This too is dollars. So I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to tell it dollars. Okay, you can click on that one or you can go the other way. Undoubtedly the formatting for that one pushes it to a centered thing, and then this one has it to the right. Which is fine. Let's see this one. Yeah, it has the style on it. All right. Anyway, don't worry about it. But as long as these two are both dollars, then we're good on that. Okay. Gross pay per week, and they're both dollars. Or you can take your format painter, if you like this one, just like you would in Excel, click on that, and now click on this one, and they have the same exact format. Okay. Which has the dollar sign all the way to the right beside it instead of over to the left. All right, gross pay per week. So now we need our gross pay per month. Our gross monthly pay is what I'll put here. I think that's what I called it in class. Gross monthly pay. I don't like all my capitalizing. Okay. So here we're going to take this number. We're going to say equals our gross pay per week. And we're going to multiply it times. Now, as you can see, everything I type in this cell is also showing up here. Sometimes the cell is kind of small and it's kind of awkward. And so you can always look up here. It goes on for a really long time. You can put whatever you need up here. So we're going to multiply this times. There are 52 weeks in a year. What am I trying to say here? 52 weeks in a year divided by the 12 months. It ends up being about 4.33333 as your constant there. So you're basically saying, I explained this in class, but this is 52 weeks divided by 12 to say how many weeks are in this month pay. So average is 4.333 weeks per month. We don't have 4 weeks in a month, except for February. There's 28 days. And we don't have 5 weeks in a month, because that would be 35 days. So every month is technically 4.3333 weeks on average. Anyway, I explained that in class, but just trust me on that. So if you multiply it times 52 divided by 12, that would give you the exact number of weeks in a month on average. Okay, so we're looking at a gross monthly pay of $628.33. We're going to come over here. I don't remember where we put it in the one we did in class. But I'm going to come over here to D3 and I'm going to put tax rate and then hit tab to go over to the next one beside it, E3. You want your rate in its own cell, okay? Because we don't want it just sitting there right there beside the words tax rate, or else the value will get messed up because it'll think, what is this TAX and all that, okay? So right here, I'm going to say we're going to put it about 12%. So that's 0.12 is what I'm going to say. Now that varies. You might be 5%, which would be 0.05. You might be 10%. You may have 0, completely exempt from paying any taxes, and you could put 0 there. You may be in a 30% tax bracket. On average, it seems like about 12% of most people's checks is what gets removed every month. So now what I'm going to say, I'm going to call this the net monthly pay. I'm going to say that is equal to our gross monthly pay times, open parenthesis, if we did it times 1, that would be 100% of our gross, our pay, right, would come to us. But instead, we're going to have to do 1 minus that interest rate. So minus our 12%, so just click on that. So this way, if you change the interest rate, it will update it. You don't want to type in 0.12 because then it will not update. I can explain that more in class if that makes sense. So whatever is in this cell will always be here. So if you change the tax rate here, it will adjust your net monthly pay automatically. That's why we're doing it this way instead of typing in the interest rate right here, the tax rate right here. This is kind of an algebra issue. If that doesn't make sense to you, ask your parents or whoever taught you algebra to make it more clear, or ask me and I'll try to explain that to you a little bit better. But that's sort of an algebra issue, just understanding how that works. So hit enter, and your net monthly pay comes out to be $552.93. Okay, this means this is about how much money we should see in our pocket at the end of the month if you're making $7.25 an hour and 20 hours a week and a 12% tax rate. These are all considered variables. So if we change any of that, the rest of this will change as a function of our changes. Okay, so I'm going to come down here a little bit to A10, and I'll say this is my liabilities. Liabilities, according to liabilities means you owe something. Okay, you owe somebody something. Let me put assets right here. I'm going to put assets up here, and I'm going to underline it. We did not actually I didn't show you this in class, but I think this is something you can figure out from the tables we did in Word. So if you use this little piece right here, if you click on the arrows, you'll see all the different borders. This is showing what kind of borders do you want on your cell. And I've got the assets cell selected. So I'm going to put a bottom border on it so that it looks like an underline. Okay. You also could underline it. If I hit Control U, you can see here, but it is underlining the word liabilities and instead of the entire cell having a line on it. There's the difference. You can do it either way. It really doesn't matter. I'm just going to do it to make it. And then once the last one you use is going to be right here. So you can just click that and it is there again. Okay. Assets are things that you have. Mostly we're only looking at cash right now, and like cash is definitely an asset for businesses or for people or whatever. Also your homes and your vehicles and your everything you own, everything. This keyboard is an asset. If I could sell it, it's an asset. You may not sell it for much, but if you can either sell it to make money or use it to make money in some capacity, then it's considered an asset. But liabilities are things that you owe. So what we're saying, this is a 17-year-old kid living at home, working at Baskin-Robbins 20 hours a week. So they may have to pay their phone bill. Hit tab, and I'm going to put $50 a month for a phone bill. They may spend about $100 a month on food for themselves, like extra stuff. Auto insurance. The parents may make them pay their auto insurance, $150 a month, maybe extra. I don't know how much it is in Mississippi. I don't have a teenager driving just yet. Hopefully it's not more than that. Could be. I don't know. How about clothing? Maybe you want to buy yourself a few extra shirts or something every month. Let's allow about $40 for that. You make these whatever you want them to be. This could be whatever you want. Tithes. We didn't do this in class, but in this cell, if you want to put tithes in here and it's 10% of your pay, you can put equals, grab your monthly pay, or you can do your gross monthly pay, whichever one you want to do, star 10%. Now tithe is something that's been around for like 6,000 years, so that 10% is not going to change. That's not really a variable like our tax rate is. The tax rate is subject to change, but 10% is not. So we can do it like this. Then that will automatically update. If you work 30 hours a week, you fix that, then even your tithes even automatically update without having to change it. I should have done it like that in class, and I really wasn't thinking. We were rushing through at the end. So anyway, anything else that's like that, like if you have figured out, your gas expenditures, if you figure out that it's kind of a percentage of however much you make, because the more you make, the more you have to go to work usually. You can put that way, but you may say it cost me about, I don't know, $200 a month in gas. I think we may have a deficit here doing it this way. Let me put 100 in gas to see what's going on. Okay, whatever you need to put here, okay? When you get to the bottom of this list, we're going to sum them up, so we're adding them up. A few different ways to do it. There's an auto sum button right here that you can click, and it will predict what it thinks you want. Do you want this? And you can just hit enter, and it will do it. You also can type that in yourself, which we typed in class. Equals sum, open paren, B11 colon B16. Like you can do that, or you can highlight them. Either way. The auto sum button I didn't show y'all in class, but it's really the easiest one to do. If there's gaps and stuff in it, it can be a little bit like it's not going to guess completely right every time, but in this kind of situation, it will. So hit enter, and we have it like this. Now, as you can see, the number here, 2.2933, is not an amount of money. That is, money is 2 digits. We don't do 4 digits. Four place values out. So I'm going to right click on this, format my cell, turn it to currency, 2 places, and now it's $495.29. You can hit Control Y, and it will redo everything, whatever formatting trick or whatever we just did, it will redo it. So Control Y redid, turned it into currency. Okay, so now they're all currency. Right over here, I'm going to put my accounting equation. I told you guys that I want it to be 5 cells wide. So what you do is go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and click this merge and center button. It merged all 5 of those cells and centered the word accounting equation. You're left your right and your center alignment, but keys all still work just like they did in Word. So I told you guys that it's assets equals liabilities plus equity. Okay, I'm going to open this one so liabilities has more space. That is the accounting equation. All businesses, all everything, this holds true. As a matter of fact, I'm going to highlight it so that you can see that. This is another trick y'all should know from Microsoft Word. Highlight with the little bucket right here. Okay, you can change the accounting equation to a different color as well. Let's make it blue. Okay, start. I want y'all to kind of put a little bit of the other stuff you already know how to do into this. Our assets, I'm going to say equals. Right now, we're only worried about what our monthly pay is. I'm not going to worry about our whatever else we have. Just this for now. Our liabilities is going to equal whatever your total is right here. So just click on that. And our equity is going to equal assets minus liabilities, and hit enter. That shows us what wiggle room we have for the month. Not a whole lot right now. I did not show you anything beyond this, so I'm gonna make a second video to show you what else we're gonna do. Oh, I did actually. Right on the bottom, if you look at the very bottom of this sheet down here, you can right click right here, hit rename, and I'm gonna call this one Baskin Robbins. And then I will compare it to a different place, which hit the plus right here. You have a new sheet to work with. Rename it, and I think I said Subway in class. I'm going to do Walmart because Walmart pays more. And so we can see what we can compare it to, okay? And so I'm going to walk us through the rest of this. So this might be several videos long. I just don't want any one video to be too cumbersome. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this one here and then start back up where I left off, okay? All right, see you in a sec.